Hello guys, today we will discuss object-oriented programming concepts in Python. What is object-oriented programming? Take an example, you are going to buy a car. How will you say? Will you say, give me a car or give me 4 tires, one steering, 4 seats and so on. So classes make the things simpler and that's why we use objects everywhere. There are different concepts of object-oriented programming. These we will discuss one by one. First one is what is a class? This is the main concept of object-oriented programming. Class define a blueprint that how a object look like, but it defines that how a object will look like, what attributes it have, what methods it have. You can see a class vehicle which can have one attribute brand and a method show. How to use this vehicle? To use the class vehicle, we need to create objects like v1, v2. We have created two objects of vehicle. First one is Toyota, second one has a title Honda. Object actually holds the data and whenever we perform any operation, it will be on the object. Object is a instance of a class. Object can have different type of attributes. First one is instance level variable and the second is class level variable. Class level variable are those variable which remain same for all the objects, whereas instance level variable can differ from object to object. We can see here book 1 and book 2. They are two objects. For book 1 we are setting a title mathematics. For book 2 we are setting a title history. But for both of the books category will remain same, that is study. So this is a difference between class level variable and instance level variable. A object can have attributes and as well as the method. Attributes or variable hold the data and methods are used to do some operation using those attributes or variables. Constructor. What is constructor? Constructor is a method which will be invoked automatically whenever an object is initialized. Generally, we use the constructor to set the default values. In Python, there is a method init. Init in this small case, if you see. This init method will be used as constructor and it will be invoked automatically. See, we are creating an object S1 of class speaker and nowhere we are calling the init method, but it will be invoked automatically and set the value of volume to 50. When we print the value of S1, we will get the output as 50. There are two types of constructor, parameterized constructor or default constructor. Parameterized constructor accept value when we are creating our object. We can see here there is a speaker and we are passing a value 50. This 50 value will be set in the volume. So there is one value which we need to pass. Self is a mandatory parameter which all the methods should have, but here we will call it as one parameter because only volume needs to be passed. Self is automatic. So here we are sending a value 50 which will be set in the volume and we can print it. Second type of constructor is default constructor. Default constructor is constructor where we need not to pass any value. We can see here when we are creating the object of speaker, we are not passing any value, but it will invoke init method and set a default value 50. Generally default constructor set the default value. Next concept is encapsulation. Encapsulation hides internal data. If an object has 20 attributes and we don't want to show all the attributes to outside classes, then what we can do, we can either make them private or protected. Private attributes are those attributes which is accessible only inside the class. If we try to access it outside the class, they will give error. Second one is protected attribute. Protected attribute is just to show that these variables should be used inside the class or child classes. Although these variables can be accessed outside the class, but it is not recommended. And third one is public attribute, which can be accessed outside the class. Here the name is the public attribute. Salary start with single underscore, which represents it's a protected attribute. So we can use it outside the class, but it is not recommended. Next is ID. In ID, it starts with double underscore. So double underscore means it's a private variable, and if we try to access outside the class, system will give error. Then how to access these variables? It is required to create a public method like getID. And with the help of getID method, we can access its value. Next concept is inheritance. Inheritance is like a parent-child relationship between two classes. If we define any attributes or method in the parent class, they will be automatically used by the child class also. Child class need not to define them again. So here we can reuse the parent properties. If you see in the example, there is a device class which has a status variable, and there is a laptop. Laptop has the brand variable. So now laptop has two variables, although it defines only one variable brand, but since it is inheriting the device class, so all the variables of device class will also come to the laptop class. Let's say create an object of laptop, and then we can print both status and brand because both variables are available there. This is when one parent and one child, it is called single level inheritance or single inheritance. When we have a relationship like A is a child of B and B is a child of C, this is multi-level inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance means when a class inherit more than one parent class, it is called multiple inheritance. Here we can see the laptop class. It is inheriting device and electronic device. So laptop will have properties of both device and electronic. If we create an object of laptop, we can print the variables of this class and the parent classes also. Polymorphism. Poly means many, phism means form. Means one method have multiple forms. We have two types of polymorphism. First is method overloading, another one is method overriding. In method overloading, we can call a method with different set of arguments. In Python, we achieve it by specifying the default parameters. You can see in the calculator class, there is a method add, which accepts two parameters A and B. And we have set the value of B is 0. So now, since B is a default variable, we can invoke add method with one parameter or with two parameter. So add method has two forms now. This is called method overloading. Second one is method overriding. Method overriding means having the same method in both parent and child class. But child class redefine the operation of the method. We can see there are two classes, device and phone. Phone is a child of device. Both device and phone has same method start, but behavior is different. In the device, start method will print device, whereas in phone, start method will print phone. If we make the objects of both the classes and invoke start method, then they will produce different output. So the start method has a different form. There is a difference between overloading and overriding. Overloading means invoking a method with different number of parameters, whereas in overriding, number of parameters remain same but method behavior changes. Overridden can be done in the parent-child relationship, whereas overloading can be done in the individual classes also. Next topic is abstraction. Abstraction means hide the complexity under a particular method or class. We will show only the required functionality so that people will know only what they should know. I have already given example. If we want to buy a car, we can simply call a method purchase and say car, rather than saying give all the attributes. So abstraction means showing essential features only and hide inner working. This is a summary of all the concepts. You can read it out. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe it. We will publish other videos soon.